Welcome everybody to the Pirate Skills Meetup today, all about Facebook Analytics. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Thank you. I know it's vacation time and tomorrow is a holiday, and that means even more that you made it all the way here. The weather wasn't the best, so I thought let's play a game in the beginning. No worries, you don't need to stand up. You just have to guess what's the best campaign. Yeah, I show you something within Facebook Analytics and you tell me what's the best campaign, right? So we have a campaign running here. Those are 4 different campaigns, A, B, C, D. A is just on the Facebook newsfeed. Imagine just a random app install campaign. Here, install my app. B is on the Instagram newsfeed. C is on Messenger platform, and D are all placement mixed together. From this perspective, what would you say? What's the best campaign? A, B, C, or D? Why C? Lowest cost. Anybody has another opinion? I agree. C. Looks like it's the cheapest one. Yeah. So, but what if we look one step deeper? Now, after the reach and the impressions, yeah, this is the reach means how many people did I see, and this is how often did people see it. No, the cost. These are the impressions, and the cost per impressions is what did I pay for 1,000 people. So we essentially here answered the question: how do I get the cheapest 1,000 people? Yeah, to look at this, 1,000 impressions. Now the question is, where did I get the cheapest engagement? Because they have to see it first, but then they have to interact with the ad somehow, like liking, sharing, clicking the link. All of those are within the clicks all department. Now, what would you say? Which is the best? Which one? The last one. So why would you say that? Probably because it's the cheapest. 11 cents is by far the cheapest. The mixed campaign, yeah, where all placements are allowed within Facebook ads. So Instagram, Facebook, Messenger, all placements. So we get really cheap engagements and we get a high engagement rate as well. So this looks fantastic, but as you noted, we changed our opinion. Yeah, we had to look one funnel step deeper. Engagements are nice. What about clicks? Yeah. After all, I want to get them to the App Store. I want to get them to my website. I want to get them to the lead gen page. What do we say now? Which one is the best? Number one. So now this is the third opinion, for fuck's sake. Yeah. Now this one seems to be the best. And the deeper we go, the truer the result, right? So now we got 28 cents per click. This is a good click price, yeah, on Facebook. I usually average around 80. If it's really engaging in a broad audience, you can see results like this, like 28 cents. Yeah, getting it much, much cheaper only if you have something very, very engaging for the right audience. So looks like A is the best now. Now we almost had everybody, but guess what? It doesn't stop with the click. So let's shift this slide again to the right. Here you see the same click results, same campaigns. Yeah, they are just switched from the right to the left. So what comes after the click for an app campaign? Conversion. Yeah, conversions like registrations or installations. And this is the next step. I got people on my landing page. Did they do what I want them to do? Which is usually sign up, give me your contact data, start a free trial, download the app. Now, which one's the best? B. Now we had all opinions now, yeah? So this is B and 164. We wouldn't have guessed that B is the best in mobile registrations after seeing all the results before. And this is what most people do wrong, and why Facebook Analytics and all analytics tools give you such a competitive advantage. Essentially, you're flying blind if you're not doing this. And registration is not enough. Registration is followed by purchase and there it stayed stable for the first time. The registration correlated the highest with the purchase. It is already a high-level commitment event, so it's likely to work the cheapest as well. So and now you see the ad budget distribution in this case. Is it good or is it bad? Did I spend the money in the right places, or did I maybe made some mistakes in my budgeting? What would you say? Now this is the final result. Yeah, there's no other ones coming behind that with customer lifetime value and stuff like that. I just wanted to show you everything from the impression to the purchase. So why didn't I spend the most on this guy? Yeah, that's the obvious question. Why didn't I spend 2K on this? Why did I spend even 600 bucks on this one? It's correct that I did spend least because I need to experiment, I need to try new stuff, and I can't always make the right decisions. But over time, you should see that you're spending the money in the campaigns that have the best customer lifetime value and lowest cost per acquisition for you. Yeah, this is why it's super unfair if your competitor uses analytics but you don't yet. Yeah, and when I enter a project and I'm like, dude, are you using any type of analytics, and did you verify that the data has anything to do with reality? And it's a no. Then I'm like, dude, how did you spend the last 25K? And thought, oh yeah, the cheapest click, that must be it. The cheapest impressions, that must be it. No, it's not even the registrations. It's the purchase and the cost per acquisition and the customer lifetime value after that. Yeah, so I thought that was a fun game to introduce you and to see how much value lies in analytics, and especially Facebook analytics. So the one thing I would like you to take home is that treasure often lies just one funnel step deeper. You have to think, how can I see a level deeper into the data to actually realize what was the best campaign, the best ad, because you could have been running ads that have already been working in the past, but you just didn't know because you just saw them all in the bundle and you just didn't realize. Yeah, the first thing I do in campaigns is look into the in projects is look into the past data to discover treasure one step deeper than was already watched. Okay, so that's the first lesson for today. This is the journey we are up to today. So you already saw that with Facebook Analytics we can learn way faster than without. We're actually even for the first time capable of learning. The next thing is we need to define our Northstar metric, the direction in which we want to go. What is the metric we want to optimize for? Then we have, I want to share just the best practices on how to set up analytics and the easiest way to go about that. And then how to test your Facebook analytics. There are some tools that show you, is real data coming in or is it all not working? So, and then of course, all data needs to be actionable. And for that, we need reports that we can easily open daily and sit down and say like, what am I going to do today? What did I do yesterday that made a real impact and what was just a waste of time? So that's the agenda for today. So most of you know me who is here for the first time. Cool. So I'm Ben. I'm a founder myself since 2008. I'm a growth marketer, which I usually call the people who feel responsible for the whole user flow from acquisition, not only to get them on the landing page, but to see what happens afterwards. And I'm the host of this Pirate Skills meetup that we have hosted now over 40 times. 3.5 years ago we started and we didn't miss one single one. Yeah, and as a fun fact, I used to be an Air Force officer, an ABC Air Force officer. ABC stands for Atomic, Biological, and Chemical Warfare. And we had this big board over the classroom which said, if you fail to prepare, you are prepared to fail. So I'm a little bit biased when it is when it's all about like setting up your analytics right, because it prepares you yeah, to even see that. You shouldn't overdo it. I show you just the basics to set up. And then you can tweak it over time and improve it. But if you don't have it set up from the beginning, it's really hard to even make it work. So that's a little bit about me. For you, it's much more interesting what's here. If you want to get the slides, just take a screenshot of this here or memorize the domain, getpirateskills.com/fbanalytics. Yes?
And what is the nationality?
I'm German Iranian.
Oh, okay.
What's yours, if I may ask back?
Kurdish.
Kurdish. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could, from my nose, maybe I could be a bit Kurdish. Yeah, we are all connected, I think. So if you go to this URL, you will not only see the slides from this meetup, you will see the slides from all past meetups with the video recordings and slides completely for free. You just have to register once, and after that you're never asked again to sign up because you're in a learn management system like Udemy. Yeah? So I hope you enjoy this. If you have feedback from me on how to improve this setup, or if you would like more information, then I would love to get your feedback there, okay? But it's all for free. So, of course, you are very much invited to like and share and take pictures of this event tonight and share it on your Twitter, your Instagram, your Facebook. If you use the hashtag #PirateSkills, it gives us an opportunity to connect afterwards, because I can always go there and see like, oh yeah, who was tagging the event, and then we can follow each other and connect beyond just this local meetup where we have time to drink and meet, but also locally with the people from the live stream who are also watching as well. And if you like, just text somebody who needs this information. Yeah, that would really help the meetup out. So let's dive in. Or do you have any questions before we keep going? Maybe about the example that we were showing. Is everything clear? Okay, cool. So the first framework I would love to introduce you to are the R metrics from Dave McClure that he introduced like, I know, maybe like 8 or 10 years ago by now. This is the framework that almost all US accelerators and investors use to measure the performance of the startups. R also happens to be a nice pirate word, so of course I adopted it. So R stands for acquisition, activation, retention, referral, revenue. Activation means acquisition means getting people to your website and making them become a first-time registration or a first-time purchaser or something like that. Yeah, but when they're in your product, it does not mean that they're activated. Called CSGO skills, which helps you to become a better Counter-Strike player. Yeah, and it now has 900,000 downloads, but only 600,000 ever opened the app. Yeah, and out of those, only 400,000 ever used the product. Yeah, and that is already decent. Now, if I look back a month later, I have about 15,000 new people coming in each month, and they should be all active, right? And then if I look next month, it's only 5,000 people. So just getting people to install your app is not enough. Getting people to use the app for the first time is a huge hurdle so that they get real value out of your product. Then keeping them around, that's the hardest one, because you actually need a quality product. Yeah, that's the magic that Netflix is in. Their ability to keep the people month over month over month. They can invest over a year of costs of revenue per customer into the acquisition because they know they will stay around 4 years on average over the whole customer base. Yeah. And then, of course, I would like to have some referrals, because every referral that comes in, imagine 2 people out of 10 refer the product. Oh, my cost per acquisition just got 20% cheaper. Yeah, if I'm in a competitive race, then 20% cheaper cost per acquisition is the world. And then, of course, revenue. I need to be able to finance all of the fun we had before, the product, the acquisition, the salespeople, and I've got to get a customer lifetime that is higher than all of the fun before. So if you have those areas in mind, and if I always imagine them like on this treasure map as a user flow, and I try to visualize Like, where am I most stuck? Where are my customers most stuck? And this is where I attack. We're going to talk more about this during the how to find your Northstar metric. Yeah, but this is the fundamental framework I use when I think about analytics across all tools, not just Facebook analytics. But then let's say you have decided my goal is to get, as in your case, like 30 leads per day. Yeah, 30 B2B leads per day would be wonderful. Those would be like 200 per week. That's a nice number to start with. What can I do to get there? And I use this simple process to help me get there the fastest in a data-driven way. I first create ideas. Oh yeah, what could I do? I could get better traffic. I could improve the landing page. I could improve the offer. I could improve the number of form fields I'm using on my landing page. I could retarget them, but not all of those ideas are created equal. Some are take more time, some have more impact, some we are more sure about actually being able to perform, and some not. Yeah, so I have to prioritize those ideas because I only have so much time to do all of this stuff, and I want to invest my time wisely. Yeah, I'm thinking about this like in chess. I see like 6 moves, but I can only make one at a time. And Gary Kasparov and I, we have different opinions on which move to do first. That's the only difference between me and Gary. We all know the same rules. Then we need to put them to the test, were those moves actually wise to even perform. And we do this by analyzing after we have performed the test successfully. And then hopefully we gain some insights on what worked and what did not work. And we can generate some new ideas. Repeat, set new target, achieve it. Ideas, prioritize. So this makes it obvious that analytics just makes your marketer life easier. Yeah, to just look at the charts and make it super clear. Oh yeah, that's the better campaign. Now we can split it down, which gender, which age group, with which placement, which interest group was the most interesting. Just keep on verifying that we got the right people until we hit the point where we can scale the business. Yeah, because we suddenly have a cost per acquisition that is lower than the customer lifetime value. Then we can spend as much money and time as we love to. But that's by far the hardest thing in business overall. So let's keep going. Defining the Northstar metric is the next big step in your journey. Once you have realized and bought into that with analytics, you can learn way faster than any competition, or if you could just compare yourself with yourself, then the next question is, so where do I want to go? What's the direction? And there is a reason why we use the North Star as the primary icon for this topic. Yeah, you realized maybe here or during the other meetups that we have 6 topics that we essentially align all what we talk about around. And defining your North Star, the clear one metric that you want to pursue, that is so important. The book that helped me most to realize this, how important this was, is this one, Lean Analytics. It gives you for all kinds of business model like e-commerce, app, B2B, the KPIs you should be hunting the most. So if you're interested in that, I can really recommend Lean Analytics. If I could get one speaker, maybe besides Russell Brunson, that I could get here, it would be Benjamin Jaskowitz. Do you see this? Just come and join us on the next meetup. So, but how do we decide? Yeah, and at the end of this segment, I want you all to tell me, what do you think? What is your Northstar metric? So let's start thinking about what it could be and what questions we can ask in order to get you there. So the most important question I already introduced. What is the biggest constraint to your growth at the moment? It could be team members, yeah? But usually we talk about the product user flow. What is the biggest constraint in the user flow? Do I lack enough traffic or qualified traffic? Do I not have enough leads or people who actually install so I can test the product deeper? Do people not stick around? Can I get them easily, but they just leave every month can I not get them to refer me, or do I make not enough money with the people I have? And when I base this circle, this product sprint, growth sprint idea, I always focus on one of those 5 areas. And I use analytics like this tower that watches over the whole country and where I can see where are people stuck. And that is the biggest constraint to your growth. So that is the first question you can ask yourself. Other questions that greatly help me in defining my Northstar metrics are what's the driver of value for your customers? What is what is the action that your customers have to take in order to perceive value out of your product? If you have a B2B business and you offer a service, when is the first time that your customer actually sees results? It's usually a long time in. But what could you give them beforehand that they already feel that they made some headway? If you have a sports nutrition product, what is the first time they perceive value? When they bought the stuff or when they took it for a certain period of time for the first time? And if you put all your effort into that focal point where your customers produce value, that is almost guaranteeing you that you're building a product your customers will love. Another thing, this is more the money and data-driven guy in me, is what will lower my cost per acquisition? You already got a good business running, but you would love to increase the sales, but you can't afford it. What you can do is you can find ways to lower your cost per acquisition. And the cost per acquisition means, like, for example, how much do I spend for a lead? How much do I spend for a customer that buys for the first time? And on the other hand, it's just as valuable to increase the customer lifetime value. How can I do a cross-sell, an upsell? What else can I give them that they will perceive more value and will reward me with money? And then, at the end of the day, what will actually lead to more profit? But it's always based on those 2 questions. Yeah, profit is only customer lifetime value minus all acquisition and product delivery costs. Yeah, and if you can improve those variables, then you can make more profits. So think about it. What is your personal Northstar metric? If we could take some of your examples maybe and talk about and discuss a little bit to make it more interactive on what this could be. Is anybody here who has a business who sells a B2C product? Here, what are you guys selling?
Beer tours in Cologne.
Beer?
Beer tours.
Beer tours, nice one. So what do you got? What do you think? What's your Northstar metric?
My customers, we get a lot of people on the website. I think as many conversions as I think I could get.
What's your traffic source?
TripAdvisor, Google Ads, Facebook Ads.
Okay. What's the percentage of traffic that is paid? Roughly. Is it just 10% or is it 80%?
It's more like 20%.
20%. Okay, got it. And the conversions, do they come a lot from the paid or more from the TripAdvisor stuff?
More organic.
Okay, interesting. So how many beer tours do you book per week?
It's very seasonal.
Yeah, in the season.
So maybe get a lot of bookings.
What's a lot?
Like on a Saturday afternoon, this May, I had 10 tours running at the same time, plus 25 requests I had to refuse because I didn't have any guides available.
Yeah.
But that's really hard to do.
Okay, so what did we hear here? We heard bookings per week or per day. Yeah, I would think probably in weeks. Then used capacity of tours, of tour guides. That could be an interesting one. To always have a certain capacity level filled. Do you have to pay your tour guides when they are not working? Good, that's a good thing. So we don't have to optimize for this. So your limitation would be getting the guides and then getting enough people to match it to one guide, right?
That was all private group bookings.
Yeah.
There was one guide per group. But that was a rare problem. I only had that problem once.
Yeah.
And usually it's more that there's not enough bookings
to the guides. So getting bookings is harder than getting more guides. I mean, like being a beer tour guide must be a dream job for any student, right? I would focus on bookings per week or month. Is week or month the better metric for you? A week. So when the next hot season comes up, so right now it's a bit off season, probably. So when does it start? April or?
It starts again while the Christmas markets are on.
Oh, right. So for the Christmas market, I would set a clear Northstar metric of bookings per week. And that is your Northstar metric. How can you book on your website?
You can book directly either public tours or private tours.
Online?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you use as payment providers? Or like?
I work through the Harbor, which is an online booking portal.
Okay, cool. So focusing, what can you pay per booking? What is the maximum cost per acquisition you want to afford? And how much does a tour cost on average? Bring you in revenue, sorry, that perspective.
So a single guest on a private public tour per yours would be the maximum.
Yeah, cost per acquisition.
Yeah. For private group bookings, it would be up to 20 euros.
Okay, and for the single public person, what does he bring in revenue?
Depending on the group size, 15 to 18.
15 to 18. So you're willing to spend about 20% of the revenue, the gross revenue, on cost per acquisition. Yeah, that is reasonable. I very often see companies who say like, yeah, I need my cost per acquisition to be 5 to 10%. Yeah, maybe if you are Rewe online, that's your problem. Or if you're Amazon and you're in an absolute commoditized business and you have lots of strong competitors. But if you're in any reasonable, distinguished service or product business, you should be able to invest about 20% of your net revenue, and with gross you even have a bit more to spare. So the Northstar metric that I would set is book an average of, let's say, 10 tours per week. You could increase it. That did not cost more than 20% of acquisition, or where they had a return of advertising spend of 5. Because if I could show you campaigns that consistently produce that for you, put in €1, get 5 back, you would play that game a lot more. You would be aggressively hiring guides in all kinds of cities, right? So that's what I would focus on like a laser. Should we take another example? Anybody else who would like to? There's a question. Oh yeah, I need to repeat the questions because the microphone does not work for you. But for the next one, yes, I will do that live stream. Thank you for reminding me. Anybody else who would like to get a Northstar metric example done? One more. Who has a B2B business? You?
Yeah, we do a B2B. And we have quite large customer acquisition cost, about €2,000.
What are you selling?
We are working with publishers and we are doing voice skills for Alexa.
Voice skills for Alexa. Okay.
It's like automatic conversion of Alexa.
Yeah. So what's the average ticket size your customer pay? Is it like more like €10,000 or more like €50,000?
We calculated lifetime value, it's about €50,000.
So and you are pissed about the €2,000 cost per acquisition. That's what I mean. Like I would be spending 2Ks like a motherfucker all day, all night. Yeah, if I could get 60 back. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry to say that it's just that, yeah. So what would you think? What would be your Northstar metric? Are you looking for more sales qualified leads or something like that? Do we have a landing page where can people register, or how do people come to you?
Some problems, yeah.
Yep.
Because 2000, but
yeah.
we have only 3 clients now because in German market, German B2B market,
yep.
it's really slow.
Yeah, German B2B market is crazy slow. It's like 3 to 6 months from hello, we have a service for you to a written contract, and then 9 months till you get the money in your pockets, yeah, or even longer depending on what you have.
Like about here, so we spend money for
yeah.
customers, but they
yeah.
are not agreeing for easy testing or some other
yeah.
stuff.
So in your,
I would say that's
yeah.
my Northstar.
What speed? What speed? How would you quantify it? Speed of acquisition. Signing of contracts. So signing of contracts is the problem with doing that in B2B. Of course, that is the long-term goal, but it takes too long to realize it. Your metrics, you cannot do a campaign and expect to actually understand what happened. Yeah. So I would go one step before and say, like, we want marketing qualified leads, and go for speed on marketing qualified leads. What I would expect, what you have, talk to Hubertus about it. He knows a lot about that business here in Germany on getting B2B customers for developer tasks, right? More than anybody I know. So, and you want to get marketing qualified leads, and you have to find out what they are worth, and set a goal like, okay, I want 100 marketing qualified leads, like the example I said with you in mind. Like how many people go to a landing page, convert to a downloadable, and in your case, I would go for book a demo. You need to get demo calls with people, video calls, and put a sticker price on that, and then go fast on that and try to set a hard limit on the cost per acquisition. But if you're below that, keep on driving more power through that. That's often what I see in B2B businesses, the unwillingness to spend more when there's obviously a profitable channel already running. Yeah, but with 3 customers already, it's hard to judge what your real cost per acquisition is, right? Because mostly in that size, people come from the network. But thank you very much for sharing those examples. So we got the Northstar metric. Now what? Now we need to learn how to set up your Facebook analytics. And this is where we go from the bit broad general thing that is true for all analytics setups, a bit more technical and deeper. If you can't follow along all the steps, don't worry about it. I usually put a link to a source that explains it step by step. But since we have limited time tonight, I will just give you my best practices and some code examples on how to implement. Yeah. So don't be worried if you can't follow every single step. So setting up your analytics, that's the start. We did a little survey with you guys. Out of this room, who participated in the analytics survey? Nobody here, right? That's crazy, yeah? So we had 21 people that we asked in a survey, like, how does your analytics setup look like? And what do you want to get out of it? And how satisfied are you with it? These are the results. Maybe the winner, we put a prize on the people. We gave away a free workshop ticket for the people who participated, but none of them are here tonight. Yeah, nobody should get it. We're going to redo that every month now. Yeah. So next month, of course, I'm going to ask you about the traffic. What are your most successful traffic channels? And you can participate, and everybody who comes here then can win a free ticket to any of the workshops we got running out, which are worth $750 a pop. So this is what people responded to. 95% are using Google Analytics, but only 47% are using Facebook Analytics. I say only because it's crazy not to. Yeah, the only reason you should not do it if you are worried about GDPR. Yeah. So there you have to be very careful, but you can still implement it. You just have to implement it in a GDPR conform way. Then Tag Manager is not an analytics tool. It's more like a wrapper around all of your analytics tools that makes your life easier and makes you less dependent on your devs. Then a spreadsheet, very popular thing, Piwik or Matomo, and then Hotjar, 2 people. So what did they want to get out of it? Yeah, so what are you most interested in tracking? And it is clear that most of you, or most people, are interested most in terms of acquisition. If you spend money, or if you do your social media stuff, you want to know, did I invest my time and money wisely? Who here from the room would agree that acquisition is the topic that we should focus on during the analytics part? Okay. So activation is, of course, getting the signups, getting the leads. Most of the B2B people answered this here. And then how do I track referral and revenue and retention? The more experienced and the more product-driven entrepreneurs are, the more they realize that is the jewel of analytics, because that retention is by far the hardest part in this whole game. And how happy are they on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being not very happy at all and 5 super happy with everything? The average was a 3. Yeah, and then I asked them, okay, what would make it a 5? And people were really quite open about sharing what would help them, and I tried to implement as much of that into this next section about setting it up and generating reports. So this is my just short list, my checklist on how to set up Facebook Analytics. So what do you need? You need a free business manager account. Who of you has access to a Facebook business manager account? Cool. So who hasn't, just go for free to business.facebook.com, register an account for that, and that separates most of your private life on Facebook and your business life, and all the notifications and the emails. They all go to your business email. You just have to verify once that you are a normal Facebook user that don't like fake account at all, and I would not risk using too many fake accounts, except you have a well cared for fake account. Yeah. So in that case, it makes sense. And then you need a Facebook ad account. And as soon as you create a Facebook ad account, a pixel is usually generated as well. And if not, you have to just click the button, yes, I want a Facebook pixel. And then you have to put it on your website, yeah, or your mobile app. Who of you is more thinking in terms of websites than apps? Who is thinking about Facebook Analytics for web? And who's thinking about it more for app? So for you app people, it's not the Facebook pixel, it's the Facebook SDK. Same thing, you just create a Facebook app, not a Facebook pixel. And in that Facebook app, there is an option for, I want the Analytics SDK. Yeah, and your developers are ready, otherwise you would not be having an app, or you have in your teammates developers and they can help you with the integration. Then if you have it on your website, Facebook now starts to analyze what are people doing, what are they clicking on, which websites are they visiting, and then you need to define the important funnel steps and convert those into Facebook events. That in a second. And then you can watch the data rolling in. And if you're interested in learning more about how this setup and installation process works for any kind of app, websites, or different programming libraries, then click the Learn More link here when you download the slides. Yeah, and it leads you to the developer documentation, to the right page to go there, and it's very simply explained. So, but how do I do it now? Yeah, in order of preference. If you have any kind of CMS, content management system or shop, like Shopify or Magento or WooCommerce, use the option in the CRM. Like Shopify has by far the best Facebook Analytics integration I have seen, bar none, in any shop system. Yeah, don't go through the trouble and don't let your developer talk you into having a custom installation of your analytics code, except you're willing to spend the 20K of effort it takes. If you're willing to do that, congrats, that's awesome. You're a bit more free to do how you want it. But otherwise, they will tell you, yeah, I can do it. Tell them, do it in your free time. Yeah? And these are the specs I need for this. And they will say, okay, let's just use the Facebook pixel number field in your in Shopify. Next level would be plugins. In WooCommerce, yeah, there are, for example, WordPress plugins like Pixel Your Site that are just fantastic. The developers have spent month over month in developing. How is your developer worm going to repeat that in 3 days that you are going to give him for that maximum? Yeah, so use a plugin. Next level, Google Tag Manager or Segment. Yeah, Segment is just a different kind of Google Tag Manager, yeah, that I prefer to use. Google Tag Manager is for you like the most convenient way. It's just one thing you have to put on your website. It's very similar installed like Google Analytics, and since 95% of people participated have it installed, I assume they get Google Tag Manager installed as well. From then on, you don't have to ask your developers anymore to install the Facebook Pixel, the next Google Analytics, Hotjar. Everything is done through Tag Manager. It's just a little bit more effort than those two, yeah, but it gives you a ton of freedom and flexibility. And I'll show you some great resources on how to install Facebook Analytics through Google Tag Manager in a moment. And then the very last one is hard coding it into your website. Okay, just keep that in mind. If you are ever wondering, or if you ask your developers, how should we do it? They hate plugins. Yeah, because it might interfere with the rest of the code, and they're right about that. But the effort that has been done in developing those plugins cannot be overestimated. So this is how the Facebook Pixel looks like if you just put it into a header. Yeah, it's a bunch of JavaScript code, and then all those variables that you need to focus on. None of this needs to be understood. You just need to realize, oh, this is my Facebook Pixel ID. Yeah, and that's the code you usually need to plug in into Shopify or your plugin. It just asks you for this number. And then this event is a so-called tracking event, page view. That is the default event that fires on every single of your website. On Google Analytics or on Facebook, they all call it a page view. Somebody goes from one website to another, that's called a page view, they put the URL in, and we're happy. That is the basic pixel setup that you need. But you can replace this word, page view, with anything you like. Yeah, and track different steps. So let's look into that. This is the best resource I know for installing Facebook Analytics with Google Tag Manager. The guy Julian, who has this YouTube channel called Measure School, you can reach the channel just by clicking on this link or on this picture, explains everything you want to know about Google Tag Manager. I learned 80% of what I know about Tag Manager only from this YouTube channel. I think he's from Frankfurt, but he has an English-speaking channel, and I couldn't recommend it more. So if you want to invest some time in learning, it would take like a weekend to get into Tag Manager, and it gives you the flexibility to do most of the tracking, even the fancy stuff, without your developers. If you ever wondered, how do I track the MailChimp form submission that does not go a thank you page? That's a Google Tag Manager solution, and a video from Julian who explains everything to you. Thank you, Julian, for doing this. So really go for it, get the slides, and look into this resource. Because I can't explain the intricacies of Google Tag Manager. Even in the workshop, it's a small segment that we can only talk about because it's a rabbit hole you can go very deep into. So there are two solutions to creating those tracking events where you exchange the word page view. Yeah? There are tracking events and there are custom conversions. Once you have the pixel on your page, you can simply say through custom conversions, that's the easier way. Oh, when people have been on the page that has /thank you in it, call it a lead. Yeah? Or you can just rename the event from page view to lead, and voila, you have the lead event. There are some advantages to both, but most of the time I recommend going this tracking event route, and I have prepared some for you to think about. So again, the tracking event is what is written there. And this is an example on how you change the code. You don't even need to repeat all of the code. You just need to repeat this line, the FBQ track name of the event. In this case, we track the purchase, and suddenly Facebook recognized that not only people have visited your website, a page view, it now realizes, oh, there was a purchase. And when you remember the example that I showed you with all the data points, you can just see, oh yeah, how many people they clicked, how many people viewed the page, and how many people bought my shit. Yeah. If we think about the beer example, yeah, the beer tour example, that is what he wants to know. How many bought? Which campaigns did they come from? How old were they? What was their gender? Where were they exactly from? Did they use an iPhone or an Android, or were they on desktop? So you can optimize your user experience for that. You get that simply from putting this event in there. But that's of course not the only event you're interested in. But here's the documentation to how you can modify those purchase events to go as deep as you like. For example, you can add a currency to it or an amount, because some purchases are more valuable than others. In the beer tour example, a private group is much more valuable than a single public client who wants to join a tour. So you want to spend more money on the people who make you more money. That's how you get that. And if you click on any of those pages, it will show you the documentation of how to modify any of those links. In a page view event, you can write what kind of content article did they go about. Was it about analytics? Was it about traffic building funnels? Was it about content? So I can judge better what people are interested in and then retarget them. Or in case of the purchase event, leave them the fuck alone for 30 days. Yeah, if you buy something on Zalando, they still stock you with the same stupid product for weeks. Yeah, of course you didn't, but look at your wife's phone maybe. Yeah, I don't know, is my wife, she's at home right now with my two daughters. I don't know that she is a Zalando fan. I have to ask her. But once you've been on Zalando, you're being stalked everywhere with what you had in your shopping cart. And even when you purchase, they don't often use the opportunity to cross-sell you. But they know what they are doing, so I have to assume it makes sense to them. So they just keep doing that. So those are the tracking ones. But which ones should you be tracking? Here I got my top list that you should keep in mind when you think about what tracking events do I need for my business. Let's go through them. So this is along the acquisition, the R metrics path of your life cycle. A page view we already talked about, but that's nothing special. People visited your website, so what? But what if you have a shop and they now go to a product detail page? Don't you want to know that they visited a special site or went to your landing page or to your contact form? That is called usually a view content event, yeah, or content view. A special page that has a higher value for you. Then, did they get in contact with you? You can throw the contact event. Did they download something? Did they become a lead or did they register? Those are all the kind of pre-purchase events that Facebook has installed as standard events for you. And that makes it incredibly easy to show them in your ad reports for Facebook and Instagram ads. All the standard events are very readily available in all reports. The custom events, they are a bit difficult to get into some of the reports. But I love to use those standard events. So now they went to your shop. Don't you want to know who added something to the cart but didn't buy? For that, you need the add to cart event minus the people who purchased. That is a very popular retargeting method to do in online shops. Target anybody for 7 days who has added something to their shopping cart but did not buy. So for 7 days, you keep hunting them and they are very likely, oh no, not very likely, they are much more likely to convert compared to anybody else who just visited your website or who had never heard about you. So you have those events and you can rename them any way you like to fit it to your business. There is, on the link before to the developer documentation, one moment, there are all the events mentioned and you can customize it as much as you need. You have a question about this?
Yeah, isn't that already all done by Facebook? Or is it still drafting the code and
Can you give me your business? Like what do you sell? I will repeat. I will repeat it, but can you say it?
So I sell home interior and
Lifestyle products, selling it on which platform? Shopify. That's very good because you just put in the Facebook ID, yeah, the pixel ID, and Shopify takes care of all of that for you. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about it. But let's say you had a blog as well, or a blog or a YouTube channel or any kind of content portal, and now you wanted to see, oh, what kind of articles and products were people interested in the content, and then you can retarget them to go back to Shopify, right? That would be interesting for you. And then you only need to, Shopify is taken care of. In your case, it's, as I said, it's the best Facebook Pixel e-commerce implementation that I've seen so far. It's extremely reliable in terms of data. I would even use Shopify just as the checkout. Yeah, you can just use the Facebook, the button, even on a WordPress site, and it still works wonderfully. So, in your case, problems are taken care of are if you want to expand with your content across other platforms, and, for example, if you want to connect, let's say, your Instagram stories, you want to know which ones lead to that. You need to do a little bit of magic in analytics and the reporting to be able to make that connection between your Instagram stories and the page views and the purchases, because it's not that simple. Yeah. So, but you're in a good spot already through Shopify. Do you guys have another question about this? Yeah. So, what I can recommend to do is think about this. Like, do you have one tracking event for each funnel step in your customer's journey? Then you're set up good. Every important milestone your customer can take deserves to get a simple tracking event so that you can open up your ad data, for example, and see from left to right, from the very impression to the click, to the page view, to the installation, to the usage of the app, to the repeat purchase. Yeah, that is the third lesson I wanted to share with you guys today. Go for it.
So the best way is first to think about which products do I have. Then for each product I set up my funnel in different steps, and then I take for every step of the funnel an event.
Yes.
So this is the right setup.
But you don't have to set it up for each product. You have the same funnel probably for similar products. Oh no, it could be different funnels, but comparable funnel steps. People go to the landing page, people sign up for the goodie, people booked a call with you, right? So you don't have to create call for product and call for product B. You can just name it contact event and then put a parameter in it and say, oh yeah, the name of the content was product A, product B. Yeah, so you have much less to do with that. And that is easily done through Google Tag Manager, where you could, for example, just put in the URL where this contact form was submitted, which will tell you easily which product that was on. Yeah, that is the way I would do. Comparable funnel steps, you don't need to customize them for each product. Just keep them the same with the same name and just put parameters one level deeper. Yeah.
There is a question from the live
question from the live stream?
Yeah. How can I track the sales of my Facebook traffic on Amazon?
Oh yeah, that is a good one. So here's a really tough one. How do I track the sales to Facebook? Not to Facebook, to Amazon. If I have a fulfillment by Amazon store, is anybody here in the Amazon business or sells their stuff also on Amazon? You do? Of course, you don't own the right to host any pixel on Amazon. If you check which kinds of pixels Amazon has on their website, there's nothing. It's all custom. Yeah, it's all in a black box and nobody knows what's happening on the other side. They don't even give you the personal information about the people who bought because they want to keep it for themselves. They don't want you to build your own relationship. So what can you do? You can do the following. Let's say you have an FBA business and you want to track people. One solution is to send them to a normal landing page on your own domain. And on your own domain, you can say like, throw that pixel, and then pre-qualify that lead, show them the product landing page, and then ask them on that website to buy on Amazon. Now the probability that a person who clicks on that buy on Amazon link, that he buys is much, much higher than the guy you just sent to Amazon, right? Because he has looked at the page and has made the conscious decision to go there. And if only 20% of people do it, that increases the probability already by 5. So what you can now tell Facebook, don't optimize for the purchase event, but optimize for the click button event. And if you like, you can make it even harder for the people and better for you. You can ask them, hey, do you want a 10% discount code? Then give me your name and email. And then you give them the discount code, and then you can track the purchase from those used discount codes. But at the end, you would still tell Facebook only optimize for people who left their name and email on that site. And now Facebook can learn and optimize over time. That is the magic that's being done. But you cannot directly track the purchases on Facebook. There is always going to be some wild workarounds. For example, another way to go about it. What if you would put an interesting incentive on a card, like a coupon code for the next page, for the next purchase, that is hidden on a website, on a card, a physical card within your product. So a fixed percentage of people in your audience will open that package and go to that website. And you know how many purchases you have and how many people went to that website. So you know that relationship. And from that on, you can estimate, oh yeah, when they made it to that website, they must have bought and received the product. That is an awesome opportunity to now ask them for a review on Amazon, because you now know that you only have people that are also highly engaged, that you can go for that. Another way to go about this, a third way, would be to use a tool like PixelMe, where you can at least track the people that have clicked on your ad and retarget them to go to Amazon. Yeah. So there are creative workarounds, but there is no super simple tool to do it. But the two examples, the first two ones, they are, for me, the two best ways for Amazon FBA people to use Facebook tracking. You don't always have to to only focus on the last step of the funnel, like you. If you have a 2K sale here and it takes weeks for that to happen, that's way too much time. And for Facebook, it's super hard to optimize. Facebook says we need 50 tracking events per ad set per week in order to do this, to optimize. So for example, if I can't get 50 purchases per ad set per week in my Shopify store, I just optimize for add to cart. There are 3 to 4 times more people pressing add to cart than to purchase, and the correlation between add to cart and purchase is so high that I don't give a. Yeah, but Facebook gets the 50 events. So learning this flexibility and thinking about which events lead to the high likelihood of a conversion helps you to do better conversion optimized campaigns for Instagram and Facebook, because you can use events that happen more than 50 times per ad set, even though it's very unlikely that you have 50 purchases per week. Does it make sense? Okay, I hope that answers your question. Leave us in a comment if that helps. A comment in the live stream if that helps, and share it while you're at it. So, so creating this is mandatory for me in order to be able to even work properly, yeah, and to work a funnel and to find out what really helps. So I'm extremely skeptical of my data or anything that me or anybody else implemented into a website or into an app. It takes trust, and trust in data needs to be earned over time. But there are things you can do that make it very likely that your tracking setup is working. So let's look at this chapter about like testing your analytics. So there are 3 tools I would like to show you. The Facebook Pixel Helper, they're all Chrome plugins, Google Tag Assistant and Ghostery that will easily show you whether this is working or not. This is not true for apps. Yeah, for apps, you better look in the Facebook backend. But let me show you what those 3 guys are doing. This is the Facebook Pixel Helper. This is pirateskills.com. I just created that slide a couple of days ago. You see the Facebook Pixel ID, and you see that there is a page you fired, plus call to action, get free video and slides. So I waited until I pressed that big ass red button, which is obviously what I want everybody who lands on this page to do. And when they click it, I did that through Google Tag Manager, for example. And then I fired that event because that is the first most important interaction I want people to take on pirateskills.com. And this Facebook Pixel Helper plugin in Chrome tells me that this is working in real time. And if it's not green, it shows like a warning and what's the problem with it. It also shows you all the hidden parameters behind it. So this is an example where the page view is always fired. But in addition, I don't only care about website views, I care much more about actions taken on websites. In this case, call to action, get free video and slides. Yeah? So that's the first step you do. That's the Facebook Pixel Helper. Then, to make sure that your Google Tag Manager and Google stuff is working all right, you install the Google Tag Assistant. This shows you all of the tracking pixels from the Google world. In this case, you see the global site tag. This is something really nice and new. I have to tell you about it some other time. Google introduced a new way. This is for the app people. They now have combined tracking profiles for app and web and give all the power that only the app people had before also to the web people. It makes it very easy to see the user journey across web and app. The ID changed. It was always UA, and now it is G, just GSL.
Does it automatically install it when you use a tag manager?
No, it does not. This is you need, so the question was, does it automatically install this with Google Tag Manager? No, it does not. You have to create a new Google Analytics property, and then you will be asked, do you want this new shiny web and app way of doing it? From a practical point of view, I can't recommend it yet. The reports demand a lot of tweaking and customizing before they're useful. But that is something maybe with the next analytics meetup, which is going to happen in 6 months again, that we can dive into once I have gained some experience here. Then the Google Ads retargeting tag. Google Ads wants to know when you have been on my website, and you might have seen a retargeting ad or 2 of mine across the web. Then Google Analytics, the normal one, Google Optimize for A/B testing, and Google Tag Manager. Yeah, so these are all the Google pixels I have installed, and the Google Tag Assistant tells me that they are all fine. Green or blue is good, yellow or red is bad. That also gives me a bit more trust that stuff is working. So last but not least, there is Ghostery. Ghostery is actually a tool that helps you to hide yourself completely off trackers. But of course, it shows you a list of all the trackers on the page you're on. If you need inspiration, go to Zalando. They have so many trackers on their site, it's incredible. And you see all of the stuff that is actually happening on the page. You see that I have 13 trackers on my page: Google Tag Manager, Segment, Google Analytics, LinkedIn Analytics, Twitter, Pinterest, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, all the stuff I want to send data to in order to be able to learn faster. Yeah? And that just gives me an overview is what else is working, yeah, on that website. Go to your competitor's page and open up Ghostery, and you will see, are they using AdWords? Are they building Facebook custom audiences? You can see a little bit of what is likely to have been working for them already. Yeah, it's a bit of competitive analysis you can do here. So those are 3 tools I wanted to share, but there is also a way to test it within Facebook. Facebook now introduced in the Business Manager in the Events section a new tool called Test Events. Just plug in your URL. It has a free field here. Plug in your URL, and then you go to the page, and any event that it recognizes, any custom events, any real tracking events, will just show up in a series here. You can see the session that I just showed you before. First, I did a page view. Then I had a page view on the free course, and then somebody clicked the call, or I clicked the call to action button. And only my events from my computer are being shown. So you're not confused by all the data that is coming in from anybody else. This is a real great way to test your custom conversions, which were really hard to make sure that they are working, is now easily possible. So in summary, don't trust your data until you have tested it thoroughly. First of all, check that it's working in real time with the tools that I've been showing. And the second thing is check week over week with a second source of truth, like your database or your shopping cart or your bookkeeper. Yeah? That the data that is coming in is at least in 80% of the realm of truth, yeah, between Google and Facebook, for example. If you see very big disparities between those, there's very likely that there is a tracking fuck up somewhere in your implementation. Yeah, and you need to see what's wrong. Is Google wrong or is Facebook wrong? But don't make the mistake of expecting 100% of the same results. You will always see at least 80% differences, but this is normal. But I aspire to 80% sameness between Google and Facebook at least, or my backend. Okay, so now that we have trustable data and we have set our North Star and we have our tracking events set up, the last point you need to do is to create the reports that makes your data actionable. So how do you do this? This is actually not Facebook Analytics. This is just the Facebook Ads Manager that gets data from Facebook Analytics and shows it for advertisers. But there is a real Facebook Analytics beneath. This is, maybe you saw the little sneak peek video where I had a little 10-minute walkthrough. If you haven't seen that and you just want to get a little walkthrough Facebook Analytics, I published that like a week ago on LinkedIn and Facebook, and you can just see me run you through the most important reports. But let me show you my favorites here during the meetup. So Facebook Analytics, this is a demo account, and if you click on any of the images or type in this URL, you can also access this demo account so you can get a feel of what Facebook can give you. So if you download the free slides, just click on that link and check it out. Here we see, just like Google Analytics, who of you has been using Google Analytics in the past? Yeah, so some of you. So it's very similar. The biggest difference between Facebook and Google is that Facebook always thinks in unique users. Everybody gets their Facebook ID sent with every single event. On any device you're on, if you did it 9 months ago or yesterday, or you switched from iOS to Android, Facebook still knows. Google does not. You need to massage Google a lot and agree to a lot of data privacy agreements to get the user ID tracking that is comparable to what's happening on Facebook. Yeah? So this is the biggest unique difference, and especially for B2B, very interesting because it takes so much time for the purchase to actually be realized. So in this case, we look at the last 28 days. We got a cool 120 million people on our website, and 56 were new, and after a week, 17% showed back up again. But that's not all coming from the Facebook pixel. Now, as you can see, this is called the demo event source group. An event source group is one of the most fascinating things about Facebook Analytics. you can plug in all kinds of data and see how people moved from your Instagram account to your website to your mobile app. And since it's always the same user ID, it's very easy for Facebook to track it. Yeah, across multiple platforms. This is hard. This is so hard, especially for like this beauty case. This is interesting. Why as the lifestyle entrepreneur, not with a lifestyle product, why you should care about this is because most of your competitors are not doing this. And you get the advantage that I showed in the first example. They see the click, you see the cost per acquisition and the customer lifetime value. Yeah, so it's worth spending the weekend. You need to understand this. Yeah, so in this demo account we have Instagram, a Facebook web pixel, and a demo app. They all come together, and these are the 120 million that have been touched. Also, Instagram users, a data source that we're usually not getting. So
there's another question.
There's another question. Sure.
Can I identify unique users from clicks in a Google retarget group via Facebook using the Facebook Pixel Tag Manager?
So I interpret the question like this. Can I, for example, retarget people from a Google ad on Facebook? Yeah. Can I recognize that they are coming from Google? Yes, you can. You can. Facebook recognizes what the traffic source was, what the medium of the traffic source was, and you can simply say, oh, create an audience of people who have been to my website who have come from Google, who have come from email. I hope that answers your question. So it's absolutely possible. Do you think I answered it right?
Yeah, he said yes.
Okay, cool. It goes the other way around as well. You can retarget anybody with Google stuff that has been on your page through Facebook. And not setting up both is just leaving a whole lot of money on the table. So Facebook Analytics can do fun graphs like this. This is by far one of my favorite slides here because this is so hard to get done in Google Analytics. This is a funnel metric of everybody who ever liked any post on this Instagram account and then went to the website, which are 14% of people. I think that is huge. That 40% of people in this case that liked any post on Instagram actually moved their ass to the website. Fantastic. Then another 12% of those added something to the cart, and 36%, which is also normal, then actually bought something. And these are not total add to carts. These are add to carts done by a single user. Yeah, so again, Facebook thinks in users, not in total amount of events. Sure.
If there's only the in-app traffic, like if you swipe up on a story, or is it also if a user watches the story but then opens Safari and then goes to the website?
So the question is it only when it happens within the app? No, it can be cross-platform, cross-device, because the user ID is always transferred. Yeah, so that's the big magic here. Yeah, and this is why, of course, the privacy guys are worried about it. Yeah, but let's use this beautiful time we're in at the moment. Let's see how long this lasts. Yeah, just get going now so you can still dial down later again. So that is fantastic to see. You can replace this with Facebook engagement. You can just ignore the whole engagement and just check out your website. That is what I usually do. How many people landed on the website? How many added to cart? How many checked out? And you can very easily see, where do I lose most of my people? Yeah, if you look at the treasure map, that is where your biggest constraint is. If you can build a funnel view like that through the tracking events that you set up, you can answer that question. Where do I lose most of my people? Where I shouldn't lose them. It is absolutely normal to lose 60 to 70% at the checkout. It's just life. People needing to put in payment data on their phone is just not cool. Yeah? Or they decide not to do it, or they actually need to pay now. That is normal. Yeah, but you can optimize this to a certain point where you get diminishing returns, and then you can focus on the next constraint. And always ask yourself, what is my biggest constraint? And then just hammer on that. Use the analytics to see, did I make progress week over week? Did my product changes make a difference? Did my landing page and campaign and ad changes do anything? Imagine how much time and money this can save you. So, another great report, and I mentioned already that retention is in my opinion the hardest game. This graph is called here, the retention graph within Facebook Analytics shows you how many people came in on July the 2nd to July the 7th. So 7 days, 9 million people came in, very nice business. And 100 people were there in week 1. Yeah, that is natural. They just came there for the first one. How many people come back the next week? 17. And then 14, 10, 13, 11. You can see this cohort. Those are always the same people. And you can see how they are slowly diminishing. But depending on how fast they are diminishing, that's the sign of the quality of your product and how long the retention time of your customers is. Most businesses look like this. Dead. Yeah, they come once, they don't leave. To get them to stay here and then to stick around for a long time, this doesn't go down. After 6 weeks, people are hooked on that product. They just stay there. And I've lost 90%, but I have now 10% of all the people that came in are now loyal customers of mine. And I can rely on them staying around, and my overall active user base can increase. And then I make changes in my app or my website, and now I want to know how did that affect the new cohort of people that are coming in. This is so hard to do on a spreadsheet you wouldn't believe. But these tools just have it ready for you as a click of a button. You can not only choose page use, but you can ask for how long did it people to purchase the first time, the second time, and all those questions that you might care about. Yeah, so getting a good retention graph is key here. And last one, the last slide to show you from the Facebook ads. This is maybe from the business point of view the most important one. We can, since Facebook has your user ID, yeah, and you always purchase and are somehow connected to Facebook, realize that you did not only buy once. And especially in e-commerce, you always ask yourself, can I afford to spend 20% cost per acquisition for my product price? Yeah, and you're willing to do this. But what if you knew that your first purchase is worth 36 bucks? But if you just waited for 12 weeks, it's 56 euro per user on average. Yeah, like 80% more. Wouldn't you suddenly be willing to spend 35% of initial cost per acquisition? Wouldn't that make you be able to outspend your competitors who are only willing to spend 20%? Because you know you make the money back. But you have to be sure that you make the money back. Otherwise, the chips go through your hand really quick. Yeah? That is very easily done through the customer lifetime value tab. And that one really sucks in Google, but it's amazing here. Or if you love to do some SQL in your database. Those are the best sources I know. Your database and this wonderful graph. It does not even need to be the exact true amount, but the amount it increases, the percentage, that has correlated 99% in all cases to the truth. Yeah. So let's say the real initial price is 50, not 36. Yeah, the initial purchase, because Facebook tracking is not optimal. You can still rely on the 80% increase over time, where you land at 90 euro. Yeah. So this is really, to me, I love this. Yeah. To be able to see how the customer lifetime value increases, and again by cohorts. So if you do new experiments, new retention experiments, you can see how did that affect my customer lifetime value. I'm loving this stuff. Sorry that I get so excited about this this geeky stuff. Yeah. So that's it. What I wanted to show you, and the lesson for me here is only the data that actually leads you to do something about it, that is actionable, is worth anything. Just tracking for tracking's sake, just don't do it. It's not worth your time. Yeah. So create the reports that can actually tell you, this is where I need to spend my money, this is where I need to save my money or my time. Yeah. That was the last lesson I wanted to share with you. So this was the complete journey today. I hope that you could take away some lessons that you can implement to that. That is the only reason we are doing this, to level up us entrepreneurs in the art and science of growth marketing. Again, if you haven't been convinced that the slides are worth it in the beginning, you might take another photo of this one here, or use the chance right now to just get the slides at get.piratescom/Facebook analytics. So, do we have any questions from the stream, or are we good? Cool. So, I would be curious what you learned tonight. Maybe you could share some highlights, but we also got those wonderful feedback sheets. Could you all pull them up for me? You also should have a pen. And it asks you, like, what did you like about the event? What did you learn? What didn't you like? Which really helps us to improve this here. There were not enough people in the room, for example. Like, okay, tomorrow is a vacation day, but they missed something, I think, tonight. And what would need to change during this meetup to make it even more helpful for you, so we can improve? And then please also give it a score from 1 to 10 on how likely you are to recommend it to a colleague. And if you're done with writing stuff down, if you would share some of your insights, and at the very end, put this beautiful sheet into the wonderful treasure chest we have here. We really treat it as our treasure, your feedback. If you have feedback from the live stream on the video, we would also love to hear that. That would be just fantastic. Just write a comment down below, and that would be incredibly helpful. The good, the bad, and the ugly. You have time to get up and put it into the box in a little bit. But when you feel ready, please, 1 or 2 or 3 examples of what was a highlight to you, so I know I need to drive that point home again and again. In the meantime, let me drink this wonderful pink drink. It's Illusionist Gin. I hope you will enjoy the bar at the end, where we always have some rum and gin together, as we pirates all do. So, has anybody here got a highlight insight that they can implement tomorrow for themselves? Anybody here willing to share? Marcel?
Well, I mean, I have many possible, but from today on, first thing I will think about whenever there's a new product or whatever to, well, optimize for, this Northstar Metric idea will be the first one that pops up in my head, and that's like the key thing I took home today.
So the Northstar Metric, thank you. Okay, cool. Anybody else who learned something? Anything you didn't like that you want to share? That's also cool here. Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, their hands are raising like, Jono, hit us.
I was just going to say how comprehensive the analytics are. Actually, this concept that it's one channel deeper in the funnel, and how much that changes things is fascinating. It's because at the first look, it looks like it's this, and then it changes.
And it's so weird how your opinion changes the deeper you look into the funnel. It's frustrating. Hubertus, do you have something to add, or was it you, Sören?
Same thing.
Same thing. Okay, yeah, going one funnel step deeper. So, if you want to continue joining us in this Pirate Skills journey, we are regularly talking about those 6 topics. Yeah, the growth roadmap, that is to me the fundamentals, like deciding on what your Northstar metric is and how to drive experiments toward that on a week-by-week basis. and to really decide where do you want to go and what are the milestones to get there. Then content and storytelling. Once you have decided where you want to go, you need to be clear as fuck on your message. Because if you're not clear and interesting and engaging, social media will kill you. You're too boring. Not everybody can have a fun topic like beer tours. Yeah, that's fantastic. Or we have the guy from Wandermood here who do those exciting Amazonas survival tours. So then once we have our story straight and the content in the pipeline, we need to build a funnel, because it's not only fun if people engage on social media and with your emails. You need to put them through a funnel, through a sequence of making them build, of creating trust and making them realize that you got the product that they have a problem for. Yeah, kind of like that. Then you need to learn how to track your data before you do heavy investments in traffic generation. If you don't have your analytics set up before you spend more than $30 per day on Facebook and Instagram, you're wasting a lot of money. Yeah? And then, of course, at the end, you will want to keep on optimizing your whole funnel every step of the way. Those 6 topics are always at the core of the meetups and of the workshops. And if you're interested in the Pirate Skills Growth Program, which is like a masterclass of how to become a growth marketer, just talk to me about that. These are some of the upcoming workshops that will help you to just get it done in your projects. We are just all day sitting together, opening laptop, grinding analytics, grinding campaigns, and really explaining it in full depth if you're interested in that. Yeah. So, and the winner of the ticket, Jono.
Can I bring my team members to the workshop? Or?
You can bring a team member to a workshop. Don't overcrowd it, but 2 people are cool as well.
And how, so it starts in the morning?
Yeah, from 9 to 5 p.m.
Is there lunch?
There's lunch.
There's lunch.
There's lunch. There's fun and lunch. No rum.
No rum?
No rum. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
What's the sort of outcome I could get from a workshop, would you say?
So, first of all, you can really get your goals straight in the growth roadmap workshop, and then build your funnel with me together, build your content pipeline and publishing calendar.
All of them, or can I go to
You can pick and choose, and you can dive in whenever you like. Yeah, because it's going round and round every 3 months.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's 2 times a month, and you can pick and choose which one you like, but I would recommend over time do all of the 6, because they really work well together.
Is there a discount for all 6?
There is a discount for all 6. That's just talk to me about it later. Write me an email. Okay. Cool. Thanks, mate. So Constanze Fahlefeld is the winner of this year's this time's meetup. Sorry, she is not here, but I had to make an exception because I usually have the rule: the person who wins needs to be here. But none of them are here. I don't want to have no winner. So she was the first one on the list to win. So congratulations, Constanze. This is for you. You can choose any of the workshops coming up and just join us for free. I'll send you the code. Thank you very much for participating in the survey. And I will send out a new survey, yeah, through social media and the email list on Friday or next week. And you can again participate. Don't only do it for the winning the ticket though. Yeah, it's really important that we share our insights and setups here from this community, so we can learn from each other. Yeah, and we can improve how the stuff we are doing right now. So that would be great if you could do that next time. So, and you can also join the Facebook group here. If you click on this again, it leads you to the Facebook group. And you're very welcome to ask your questions. If you have a case study, if you're like, some people are wondering, like, Ben, do you give answers for free? Of course, that's what I love to do. Yeah, if it's just a quick answer I can give, or I can just share my knowledge straight, I will always do that. But not only I, because the smarter people are on this side of the room, and they're also in the Facebook group, yeah, and they will participate. So feel free to use this Facebook group as your resource to go there. We will also expand this very soon to a Discord server, which is a chat platform like Slack, where we can also talk. Yeah, for the people, we have a public channel, and we have some channels where only the people are in the workshop cohort as well. So, and if you have any questions, or if you have suggestions, or would have ideas for talks, or want to give a talk here at the Pirate Skills Meetup, feel free to contact me through email, phone, WhatsApp, connect with me on Facebook and LinkedIn, please. Yeah. So just no worries. You're not. Some people have the feeling that they might be wasting my time. I'm not Tim Ferriss yet. Yeah. So I love to help people with their stuff. Okay. So this is my contact data, and I also really want to thank the team that made this possible. Yeah, they're just 2 out of the 3 guys here in the room. Please give the team a round of applause for making this happen. I think this room looks amazing with all of the posters here, with the upcoming meetup and the workshops. And Matthias did, together with my brother Daniel, a lot of the design process that led to these new colors. You see the old design over there still on the big banner. I loved it. It was very unique, but my wife always said, it looks like a children's birthday card. Yeah, and I hope the new one and the new icons are really gripping it. Yeah, so team, thank you very much for really making this possible. And guys, to err is human, but to R is pirate. Yeah, let's have some rum together. See you there. Bye-bye.